This was a story about what's being done to help people who were caught in the crossfire, pretty much. So normally I'm trying to be on the front line. I'm trying to be where the conflict itself is actually happening, where there's combat taking place. And so this time when I went, I was with the ICRC in dealing with their relief for the civilian population. You know, they're stuck in these camps. Again, it was in a camp for displaced people, and there was a child who had no clothing and was finding whatever was available to play with, as children will.
5 award-winning photojournalists who have spent their careers documenting the brutality of war were commissioned to return to conflict zones after the fighting to show us the struggle of people trying to restart their lives.
There was a church that dealt with women and mothers who dealt with trauma of the war, and they would go there and they would talk and in song and in prayer sing about the difficulties they went through.
What we wanted is people who could capture the dignity behind the images.
Uprooted and Forgotten is the caption for this photo and the story of so many refugees of war.
These are victims of the hurricane that struck, or one of the 5 hurricanes that struck Haiti last year. As I went back and found this family, they're living along with a number of other families on the side of a road. They had initially gotten a little bit of international assistance with some tents and things like that, and that was it. And nobody had spoken to them in months. They were begging for food. They were completely abandoned, and nobody really was doing anything about it.
Sometimes I have watched people looking at these pictures for the first time, and I have seen different reactions. I've seen people saying that, oh my God, this is very sad. Some other people thinking a bit deeper and saying that this is something that is not just sad, but is beyond the sadness. It's hope starting again.
She lost her son in a fighting between the Fatah militia and the Lebanese army. And as usually I do, I didn't jump immediately to take a picture of her. I started talking a little bit. She was very warm with me, so she was touching my hands, and she said, thank you. And then when she started the interview, I started taking the picture. That's why the picture came out like this. Because let's say that she let me get in her soul.
There is a picture that I did not know it was taken. It came as a surprise to me, where I am holding a person and helping this person to stand again.
And I think the shape of Alberto's, his body language, he's actually looking like a brace. I mean, you see his legs forming a triangle, and you see his arms reaching out to the man's shoulders, and his eye-to-eye contact was so concentrated. You could just see him as a human brace, lifting this man up and helping him do that for himself.
When I look at it, I know what I'm thinking. I know what the person is thinking. It's hope. It is sadness, but it's life going on.
Sometimes the image that says hope is a woman's hand reaching from behind bars to adjust a radio antenna that will bring news of the world outside, the world she may someday rejoin. Or it is found in an image captioned, "Together Again."
This guy, Roger, 17 years old, he had been separated during a recent battle for several months from his family. He didn't even know what had happened to his family, and they didn't know what happened to him. And as he started to walk towards his home, villagers would start to see him, shout out to him, and all of a sudden he started to become like the Pied Piper, as more and more people would come and greet him, and small children would start jumping on him, and the energy started to rise more and more until finally he reached his home, and he saw his sisters and his brother, and then finally his mother. And it was one of these incredibly positive, uplifting experiences as his family was brought back together in a place where hope like that is so rare to find.
And I hope that when people see our images, that they begin to understand on a human level a sense of compassion for people in those situations, and that we've created a bridge of humanity so that they not only feel something for them, but they begin to identify with them as human beings. And I think when that happens, change is possible.